you're breathing out. One more breath. Pressing into the mat with the feet. Let's breathe the arms all the way up to standing. Taking a big breath in. Gaze can go up. As you exhale, hands to your heart space. Empty the breath completely. Inhale, reach the arms up to the heavens, perhaps adding a back bend. And as you exhale, floating to your mat, emptying the breath. A halfway lift, a nice flat back. This time as you exhale, placing the hands on the ground, bending the knees. This time the left foot steps back. The right knee's in a lunge. The back leg is nice and strong. Once you feel stable, breathing the arms up. Adjust the feet if you need to. Keep that back leg switched on. Making the pistol grip with the hands. On the breath in, reaching up, creating length. On the breath out, lunging. This time bringing the arms over to the right. Inhale to rise up again. Exhale, lunging with that right knee over to the left. Let's do one more on each side. Inhaling, the arms reach up. This time bend the elbows as you lunge with that right knee. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to the other side. Keep your mind on the practice. Breathing in to reach up. As you breathe out, opening up to warrior two. Adjust the feet if you need to. Focus through that front middle finger, flipping the palm. Let's inhale to reverse, reaching up and over, feeling the stretch down the side of the body. As you exhale, back to warrior two. Inhaling. And then let the breath go. One more. Breathing in. And breathing out. Soften through the shoulders. This time the front leg straightens. The right hand reaches forward as the left hip pushes back. Once you've reached your limit, let the right hand fall towards the mat. The left hand towards the ceiling. Again, if it hits a part of the leg, let the leg push back. The gaze can be at the top thumb or down at the mat, especially if you've got neck issues. You're inhaling and you're exhaling. Know that life perhaps is not the way it's supposed to be, it's the way it is. The way we cope with it is what makes all the difference. One more breath. Engage the core, press down into the feet. Let's come back to warrior two. This time that right forearm lands onto the right thigh and the left arm reaches all the way up and over. Feeling the stretch down the other side of the body. Adjust the gaze so the neck's not straining. Really reaching with the top fingers. Press that back foot down into the mat. If you're wanting that extra core, releasing the bottom arm in line with the top. Notice what's happened to the breath. Notice what's happened to the jaw. One more breath. The hand comes back. And let's come back through to warrior two. Take a deep inhale. Let the breath go. The back hand comes to meet the front hand. The arms reach up. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, pivot on the ball of the back foot as the hands greet the earth. Soften the back knee down, flatten off the back foot. This time we're pressing into the left hand. The right arm reaches up nice and tall. The gaze can be at the top thumb. Or just keep the gaze down at the mat. You're pushing the mat away with the left palm and reaching up with the right. One more breath. As you exhale, the right hand comes down onto the right knee or thigh. Let's open up this side of the body so you gently take that rock side to side. Perhaps life is just a succession of lessons which must be lived to be fully understood. It's perfectly imperfect, it's unpredictable, and sometimes unexplainable. One more breath here. This time the right arm reaches up again. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, bring it to the inner edge of the right foot. If you're wanting more hips, scoot the foot out to the right edge of the mat. Bring the hands to meet it. Either staying on your palms, using your blocks, dropping down onto your forearms, drop the gaze. And then again, those organic movements. Your body will know what to do. Either coming onto the side of the foot, rocking from side to side, or making some circles with that right hip flexor. Know that you're breathing in. Know that you're breathing out. Notice if the mind's still busy, come back to your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. One more breath here without rushing. If you're on your forearms, coming back onto your palms. We're setting up for pigeon on the other side. So scooting the foot over to the left edge of the mat. If you're taking this version, dropping the knee across, lengthening the back leg down, taking a breath in first, lengthen. As you breathe out, coming halfway down, dropping the gaze, softening the back of the neck, feeling the stretch in the right glute. Use your core to push you all the way back up, perhaps taking a back bend here. And as you exhale, coming back through neutral, walking the hands down, either resting your head on the mat, a block, making a little cushion with your fists. Make sure your head's resting on something if you're taking this version. And if this version isn't nourishing for your body, you come onto your back and take the right ankle over the left knee. This time pushing out through the right sole of the foot, either staying here or hugging the left thigh or calf towards you. Just make sure you're shining out through both soles of the feet. Let the breath just come in. And let the breath just go. Try not to let the mind get busy with the still pose. Know that mindfulness doesn't change life, in the sense that it still remains as fragile and as unpredictable as ever. That's just life. What mindfulness does, from my experience, is it simply changes the heart's capacity to accept life as it is. A few more breaths here. Notice any parts of the body that might be tense. Allow the breath just to be sent to those areas. Inhaling and exhaling. When you're ready, feeling forward folding version of pigeon, just starting to walk the hands back up. And if you're on your backs in supine version, you can meet us in the next pose. We're dropping that right hip down, swinging the left leg out in front. This time the right foot comes into the left thigh. Let's take a breath in, lengthening. As you breathe out, start to bring the hands to the edge of the leg of each side, walking them forward, gazing over the toes, reach that first point of resistance, taking a breath in to lengthen. And as you breathe out, perhaps walking a little further, either grabbing hold onto the side of the leg or reaching the sole of the foot. With each inhale, perhaps a subtle lengthening. With each exhale, softening the back of the neck as you come down. Breathing in and breathing out. One more breath. And gently engage the core as you start to walk the hands all the way back towards the body. Soften through the shoulders. This time the arms reach up, the gaze can go up. As you exhale, the left hand comes in front, the right hand behind, lengthening first. And this time we're gazing over the right shoulder, making sure the toes of the left foot are pointing up so the legs engaged. Soft jaw, inhale to lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale to take the twist. Bringing everything back round to center. Keep the right hand behind you. This time the left arm reaches up, either remaining with everything grounded or pushing into the back hand and reaching up and over. Really arching the back. Take a breath in. Let the breath go. One more breath. Gently lowering the hips down. This time bringing the soles of the feet together. If that's too intense, just bring them out a little bit further forward. If it feels okay in your body, either hold on to the ankles or interlace the fingers and cradle the toes. On the breath in, really open the heart, peel the shoulders back as you gaze up, knees are pushing out to the sides. And on the breath out, rounding and arching the back, dropping the gaze down. The eyes can be shut if you like. Inhaling, peeling the body open, taking a breath in. And as you exhale, rounding. This time on the breath in, just create length through the spine. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, pull the toes towards you. As you gaze over the toes, soften the back of the neck. Feel the pull in the inner legs. You're taking a breath in to lengthen. As you breathe out, perhaps coming down a little bit lower. One more breath. Start to lift the spine back to neutral, bringing the knees together. Coming back onto all fours, making your way mindfully, knowing the transition is just as important as the pose itself. Once you've landed, taking one cat-cow curl here, a breath in as the waist goes back and the gaze goes up. And as you breathe out, rounding and arching. Back to a neutral spine, digging the toes in, coming up for your final downward facing dog. Notice how it feels. Widen through the collarbone. Soften the gaze up to the navel. Bend the knees as much as you like. Take a full inhale. And then let the breath go. Inhaling, the heels come up. You're on your tippy toes. As you exhale, take a walk up to your palms. Once you've reached there, take another inhale and an exhale. Press the feet into the mat, strong arms, come all the way up to standing. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, bring your hands to your heart. Come into seated chair, knees pointing forward, hips dropping back. Tailbone's heavy, but there's length through the crown of the head. Keep the shoulders soft. Some of you might want to come down a little bit lower. A breath in. Let the breath go. Inhale, you rise up nice and slowly. Take a big breath in, add a back bend at the top. As you exhale, hands to your heart space, letting the breath go. Place the weight into the left foot. Focus your eye gaze on one spot. In the Sanskrit, it's called your drishti point, your focus point. The right knee releases up. Few options. Either come into a balance below, above. Some of you may want to take a deeper hip stretch, bringing that right foot into the left hip. For others of you, perhaps grounding is better and more nourishing for you when you take this class. Soften through the shoulders, lift up through the crown of the head, and keep your eye gaze focused. If you fall out of your balance, you simply try again. Inhaling in, exhaling out. Once you feel stable, start to bring the arms through center, lengthening through the spine, really reaching up nice and tall, but grounding with that left supporting foot. Take a breath in here. As you breathe breathe out, hands come back to your heart space, releasing the right knee, and then dropping the foot down. Inhale, lead with the wrists. Take a back bend as the arms reach up and over. As you exhale, soften the knees, float to one side, it doesn't matter which. Inhale, you're rising up again, adding the back bend. As you exhale, softening the knees over to the other side. One more on each side. Inhale to rise up, create length first, and exhale, empty the breath. Inhale, rising up and over. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, hands in prayer to your heart space. Let's take tree on the other side. This time the weight's in the right foot, the left knee releases. Decide if you want to balance below, above, or that deep hip stretch, or grounding. Focus your eye gaze. Soften the jaw. You're breathing in and you're breathing out. Another breath in. Let the breath go. When you feel ready, start to bring the arms through center, lengthening through the crown of the head, grounding with the right foot. You're breathing in and you're breathing out. One more breath. As you let the breath go, bring the hands to your heart space, release the left knee up and then drop it down. Place the feet roughly hip width distance, soften through the shoulders, interlace the fingertips, place the hands at the belly, elbows nice and wide. Inhale, the arms reach up to your heart space. As you exhale, a softening of the knees as you push the palms away and drop the gaze. Inhale, you're rising up again, perhaps adding a gentle back bend at the top of the inhale. As you exhale, softening the knees, the arms reach out to the side, interlacing the fingertips behind you. Take a deep breath in as you squeeze the shoulder blades together and take a back bend. And as you breathe out, perhaps squatting down a little bit lower, guiding everything back in as you start to straighten the legs. Inhale, hands to your heart space. As you exhale, softening the knees, pushing the arms away. Inhale to reach up and over. As you exhale, softening the knees, interlacing the fingertips behind your back, squeezing the shoulder blades, the gaze can go up. And as you exhale, reaching all the way. This time make your hands in a prayer as you guide it back to your heart space. Inhale, arms reach up and over. As you exhale, take a swan dive to your mat, empty your breath. A halfway lift, a nice flat back. And this time as you exhale, placing the hands on the mat, let the knees follow. Widen the knees, bring the two big toes together, just push yourself into child's pose. Let's take a pause here, head is down on the mat. The arms are stretched out, and just allow the breath to enter and allow the breath to leave. Perhaps even trying to slow your breath cycle down here as we slow the practice down. One more breath. And then gently lifting the hips up, scooting the knees back to hip width distance. Let's take one cat-cow curl here. Inhaling as the waist goes back and the gaze goes up. And as you exhale, rounding and arching. Let's do one more. Breathing in, the waist goes back as the gaze goes up. And as you breathe out, belly button to spine, soft shoulders. Back to a neutral spine, swinging the ankles out to the side, coming onto your sit bones at the top of the mat. Bending the knees. Two big toes are together. On the breath in, use your core, it's not your back. So once your back takes the strain, either come up or drop down onto your mat. On the inhale, reaching the arms up. On the exhale, engaging the core, softening through the shoulders. As you just start to lean back, make sure you're feeling it in the core and not your back. Use your core to push you all the way back up. Take a big breath in, the gaze can go up. And as you exhale, perhaps softening down a little bit more. One more. Inhaling, rising all the way up. Take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, coming down, engaging the core. This time coming all the way down onto the mat. The hands can go at the back of the thighs. The moment you lose integrity in the back, just start to drop down. Bring the knees in for a squeeze. A gentle rock from side to side. Might want to make some circles one way and then the other way. One more breath here. Dropping the feet down. Just let the spine and the shoulders rest on the back. Bring the soles of the feet together so the knees are pushing out to the side. If you want an extra stretch, push the palms against the thighs. Press the feet a little bit firmer. If that's too much on your hips, you just slide the feet towards the front of the mat. Let's take a few breaths here. Noticing the quality of your mind. Letting the breath just enter. And letting the breath just leave. Taking one more breath here. Gently guiding the knees back up. Coming into your inversion, so we might take a bridge pose. Those of you wanting a more active bridge pose, bringing the feet up towards the glutes so that the fingertips are just roughly skimming the heels. Pressing into the feet and the palms. Engaging the glutes as you lift the hips up, rolling onto the shoulders. Interlacing the fingertips, perhaps at the base of the spine as you push the hips up a little higher. That's one option. Those of you wanting a more restorative option, taking your block, placing it either on the lowest, the medium or the highest side. And just place it under the sit bones. You'll know your sweet spot. Just allowing the body just to rest there. As you slow down your breath, soften the body into the pose. Just being curious about your relationship with change, perhaps with unpredictability. And sometimes the issue is that we feel we're in control, but really we aren't. Everything is constantly changing. We either choose to resist or go with the flow. Start to slow down your breath cycle. Just allow even the facial features to soften as the body softens. The mind starts to get busy. Just simply bring curiosity into your thoughts. Taking a couple more rounds of breath here without rushing. Inhaling and exhaling. One more breath. Inhaling in, exhaling out. If you have a prop underneath you, just release it for now. Let the hips just lounge back down to the mat. Bring the knees in for a gentle squeeze again, a gentle rock from side to side. And then place the feet on the width of the mat or either side of the mat. Knees are pointing upward. Bring the arms overhead. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, Drop the knees over to the left. Gaze can be to the opposite way, or just keep the gaze neutral. Feel the twist in the waist and the spine. A deep breath in. Let the breath go. Use your core to bring the knees back up. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, dropping them over to the other side. Again, keeping the gaze neutral or turning the chin to the opposite way that the knees are facing. Breathing in and breathing out. One more breath. Knees come back up, extending the legs down onto the mat, pointing the toes. Feel the stretch down the lower body first as you point the toes. Inhaling and exhaling. And then softening out of the stretch, interlacing the fingertips behind you. Pull the upper body. So feeling the stretch in the top half of the body. Deep inhale in. Letting go, sigh out. And then releasing the hands. Let's take a full body stretch. Pointing the toes away from you as you reach back with the fingertips. A deep inhale in through the nose. A big sigh out the mouth. One more. Inhaling to take the stretch. As you exhale, softening the body into the final resting pose. Either just lying down on your side. Some of you may want a cushion or a bolster underneath the knees. And just allow the body to rest. Allow the mind to settle. If the mind gets busy, which is common, just let your breath be your anchor. Take as long as you like for Shavasana. Stay here for as long as you like. Softening the body into the pose. Almost like the body's just getting heavier. Notice any parts of the body that still might be gripping. And then just allow the breath to enter there. Soften through the shoulders, even the toes and fingers. Relax each part. Taking a few more breaths here. Know that the course of life is unpredictable, which is why no one can write their story of life or their autobiography in advance. Take a deep inhale in through the nose and letting go, sigh out the mouth. Know that life is unpredictable. It changes with the seasons. Even your coldest winter happens for the best of reasons. And though it may feel eternal, like all you'll ever do is freeze, the promise is that spring is coming, and with it brand new leaves. Perhaps we can look back and smile no matter what life has thrown at you, because it was life, and you decided to live it. You gently just bring some movement into your limbs. Decide if you want to finish your practice lying as you are, or if you want to make the transition transition to a fetal posture, perhaps rolling over to one side, keeping the gaze within you. Doesn't matter which posture you take, just take a pause here. Know that life is the most difficult exam. No two lives are the same. Most people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper. When you take your next inhale, perhaps either staying where you are if you're wanting to finish the practice lying down, or coming up to a seated posture with the eye gaze closed if you're wanting to finish your practice seated. If you're seated, let the sit bones ground, lift up through the crown of the head. Soften the facial features. If you're lying on your mat, just let the body soften. Either bringing your hands to your heart space or placing them over your heart. Know that life is like the weather, unpredictable. When it's dark and miserable, we must have hope. But when it's warm and sunny, we must rejoice. We must embrace it all and trust that its memory will sustain us when the rain finally comes again.